It's really important for us as teachers to realize that all of our students have assets, regardless of where they come from. And that's very important because it changes the way you approach your teaching. If you come from a deficit mindset, you're always going to be thinking about, what don't my students know? What don't they bring to class? You're just focusing on the negative of the student. If you're thinking about from an asset framework, you're thinking, hey, what do my students actually bring to this classroom and how can I use it to help their learning? One of the models for cultural assets is called funds of knowledge. And funds of knowledge research, what the researchers did, they went into the communities of Latino students and they tried to say what kind of learning is going on in the home that can help students in the classroom. And so if they had parents, for example, who worked in agriculture, those students knew an awful lot about biodiversity. They knew a lot about measuring and geometry. Those were funds of knowledge that those students could use in the classroom. When it comes to another theory, it's called cultural wealth theory. It's this idea of what other kind of wealth do students bring. For example, a lot of students that come from underrepresented populations, they have a lot of grit. They just don't know that because their parents have sacrificed so much for them. So those students know and realize what hard work is like. Those students know that a lot of the things that they're doing is going to benefit their families. And what that's called is aspirational capital and social capital. So every student has some kind of an asset or another that they can bring. And it's important for us as teachers to know what can our students do and what do they like, whether they're from underrepresented population or not. If a student, for example, loves to skateboard, that's an asset. How can we use their fearlessness in our classroom? How can we use what they do mathematically when they're skateboarding in our classroom? An example I always like to give is when we have students in our class, let's say I'm from Guatemala, and we have three students just coming into our classroom from Guatemala, and they don't know any English. Some teachers will look at those students and say, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? These kids don't know anything. Whereas a teacher that looks at things from an asset framework, they're going to be thinking, wow, how can I use these students who understand Spanish to help my classroom? How can I use what these students do at home, perhaps watching Univision with their abuelitas, and say, hey, they're learning about the world from a cultural and global framework. So they actually can bring these things into my classroom rather than me thinking, oh, look at what these students don't bring to my class. That's the importance of cultural assets. Find more teaching resources on office hours. Like and subscribe.